So today I will discuss scattering wave amplitude in terms of partial wave amplitude, and we will discuss it for the intermediate region, right? So earlier case we have discussed it or try to find out the scattering wave for the radiation zone. Now I will try to find it out for the intermediate region. And what will happen for the intermediate region if I talk about that? So in intermediate region, the potential will be almost zero. Potential is almost zero, but centrifugal term is not zero. Is not zero. That is, L is non-zero. This is the second region. And if I recall radial equation, let me recall radial equation, and that radial equation is what? It is minus h cross square by 2m d square u over dr square plus vr plus h cross square by 2m L into L plus 1 by r square, and it's into u is equal to EU. It is the radial equation. So for intermediate region, this potential part will be zero. So if this potential part will be zero, then what will happen? If it is zero, that means the new equation will become what? The new equation will become, means for intermediate region, this equation becomes what? This equation becomes h cross square by 2m d square u over dr square plus h cross square by 2m L into L plus 1 over r square. U is equal to EU. That's what will happen, right? So let me multiplying both sides by 2m over h cross square with negative sign. If I multiply it with it, then what will happen? D square u over dr square minus L into L plus 1 over r square u, it must be equal to minus 2me over h cross square into u. And let me call this as k square. This is k square, as we have taken for the earlier case also. So it is d square u over dr square minus L into L plus 1 over r square into u is equal to minus k square u, right? As we have discussed for the problem of hydrogen atom, that its solution must be like a linear combination of spherical Bessel functions. Its solution, its general solution, can be written as a linear combination of spherical Bessel functions. That is, UR, it can be written as AR JLKR plus BR NLKR, or somewhere it is written as eta LKR. So RR will be what? It is UR divided by R. So it is A JLKR plus B eta LKR. Right? And what is this JL and eta L? JL is what? It is the Bessel function of first kind, and eta L is the Bessel function of second kind. And it's something like generalized sine function. Not exactly sine, but it's like generalized sine function, and it's like generalized cosine function. Let me show you their plots. Let me go to the Wikipedia and then let us try to see their plots. Just how it looks like. This is a first kind of plot, and then I will show you second kind also. This is first kind. And then let me show you second kind. Yeah, it's the second kind. So it's a Bessel function of first kind, and it is second kind. So if we try to see it, so it's like a sine function from here for this second and the third part, right? Means for L is equal to 1 and 2, it's like a generalized sine function. It's similar to that, and it's like a cos function. It's like this. If I try to see it from this region, so it's like a sine and it's like a cosine. Not exactly, but it's looking that. What is our need? We need a function e raised to power iota kr type. Means it's a spherical wavefront. The outgoing wave is like that, and this doesn't show that. So what we do to do that, so that means the choice of these type of Bessel function, they do not represent this choice of Bessel functions do not represent an outgoing or incoming wave. Thus, we need their linear combination. Thus, we need their linear combination in complex form, and which is analogous to e raised to power plus iota kr or e raised to power minus iota kr. And corresponding to this, there exist spherical Hankel functions. There exist spherical Hankel functions, and let us define those spherical Hankel functions. And they are also, like Bessel, they are also exist either first kind and the second kind. So HL1x is the Hankel function of first kind, and it is JLx plus iota, it's iota, eta L x. It is Hankel function of first kind. And similarly, I can define Hankel function of second kind, and it is JLx plus, sorry, not plus, but it's minus iota eta Lx, and it is the Hankel function of second kind. These are the new functions which we have defined. So how do we define Hankel functions? If you try to look at this definition, so according to this mathematical equation, I can define these. So Hankel functions are what? It's a complex linear combination of Bessel functions Bessel functions of first and second kind. And if we do a little algebra, then we can define these, or we can give few of them Hankel functions. So few of Hankel functions can be given as like H0 1, it's the first kind, and it is minus iota e raised to power iota x over x. And similarly, H0 2, it is a Hankel function of second kind. It can be written as iota e raised to power minus iota x over x, because एक जगह plus है and another side it's a minus, so it's basically a sign where iota is sitting. And similarly, I can define H11, and it's equal to minus iota over x square minus 1 over x e raised to power iota x, and H12 equal to, this H12 is equal to what? It is iota over x square minus 1 over x and e raised to power minus iota x. And similarly, I can define H21 is equal to minus 3 iota over x cube minus 3 over x square plus iota over x and e raised to power iota x. And similarly, H21 can be defined as 3 iota over x cube minus 3 over x square minus iota over x and e raised to power minus iota x. That's what we can define. But for large value of x, how do we define these? And generalized formula can be written as for large x. You can remember these results. So For large x, that is x is very much greater than 1, this HL1, it can be written as 1 over x minus iota raised to power L plus 1 and e raised to power iota x. Then it is, these are the recursion formula, okay? And HL2, it can be written as 1 over x iota raised to power L plus 1 e raised to power minus iota x. So for large x, I can define these in terms of this. And if I try to look at this HL1 and HL2, then it's like e raised to power iota kr over r, and HL2 is like e raised to power minus iota, because minus iota x is sitting, so it's like minus iota kr by r. It's like that. So that means one wave is representing outgoing wave and another is representing incoming wave, right? So let us do little more algebra. So now HL1 kr, if I want to write down expression for it, so it is 1 over kr minus iota raised to power L plus 1 and e raised to power iota kr, right? So it can be simply written as, it can be written simply or nearly equal to minus iota raised to power minus it is nearly equal to minus iota raised to power or let it be like this, need not to change it, and let me call this as equation number x, and HL2 can be written as, when in place of x, here it is sitting kr, so it's like this, 1 over kr e raised to power what, not but iota raised to power L plus 1 and e raised to power minus iota kr, and let me call this as equation number y. So what this represents? This represents outgoing wave, and this like a incoming wave, but incoming wave is of no importance, because as we know, actual form of the incoming wave, it is e raised to power iota kz by it is e raised to power iota kz. It's a plane wave and coming along the z axis, so it's like e raised to power iota kz as we have defined. So that means this Hankel function represents the outgoing wave. This Hankel function represents the outgoing wave. So thus we need first kind of Hankel function, means we need Hankel function of first kind, that is RR is nearly equal to, जो RR था इसको हमने क्या कर दिया, we have defined it in this way. So now we define the wave function. So what is the actual wave function? For which region? Intermediate region. Means a region which is just outside the scattering region. So how do we define this wave function? That is, wave function is total wave function is psi r theta phi, and it consists of incoming and outgoing wave. So as we have defined it in this manner, e raised to power iota kz plus some constant and rr and ylm theta and phi as we have defined in the beginning. It's some constant and it is rr and ylm, this one. So as we know that rr is this one, if I put its value here, then this wave function as we have defined it earlier, so r theta phi, psi r theta phi is equal to a e raised to power iota kz plus summation CLM. Now it's a constant, this constant, it is replaced by this one CLM, and we have to determine its value later on. So CLM, and it is R, and RR is replaced by HL1 KR, and YLM theta phi will remain as it is. And let me call this as equation number A. So this part corresponds to incident wave, and what about this part? This part corresponds to scattered wave. This corresponds to scattered wave. But for spherical symmetrical potential, when the potential is spherical symmetrical, phi is constant. For spherical symmetrical potential, this phi is constant. That means we have only term, terms for which m is equal to 0. And I have defined YLM theta phi in the beginning of the lecture, right? So using that, I can write down YLM, this theta phi is equal to 2L plus 1 and L minus mod of m, its factorial, divided by 4 pi L plus m, its mod, L plus mod of m, and then its factorial, and its whole under the root, and e raised to power iota m phi PLM cos of theta. But for the spherical symmetrical potential, phi is constant, and it is constant, so that means m will be equal to 0. So we will remain only with the term for which m will be 0. So for that, I can define YL0 theta phi, and if I put the value will be 0 here, if it will be 0, it will be 0. This L will cancel out with it. So it is 2L plus 1 over 4 pi. It is e raised to power iota 0 phi PL0 cos theta. PL0 cos theta. And e raised to power 0 is 1. Something raised to power 0 is always 1. So this term will be banished. So it is 2L plus 1 over 4 pi whole under the root. It is PL0 cos theta. But as I have defined that PLM is equal to PLM x. It is defined as 1 minus x square mod of m by 2 d over dx mod of m, and TLX. Let us put their values. Because what I need PL not x cos theta. So it means this PL not this cos theta is equal to what? 1 minus cos square theta 0 by 2, it's 0, and 0th order derivative means no derivative. So it is PL cos of theta. And this is again 0, 1. So ये simply क्या आ जाएगा? PL cos of theta. So this value will become what? It is PL cos of theta. So that means if I put its value here, then YL not theta phi will become what? So this will be equal to YL0 theta phi is equal to 2L plus 1 4 pi under the root, it is PL cos theta. Now I have defined the constant in terms of CLM, and that CLM is nothing but that is the expansion coefficient. So let us define that coefficient. So let us define expansion coefficient. So it is CLM is equal to CL0, and this is iota raised to power L plus 1 into K 4 pi 2L plus 1 whole under the root into AL. And what is AL? This AL is known as what? It is the Lth partial wave amplitude. Lth partial wave amplitude. So if I put all these values in equation number A, using equation A is if in the equation that if I will use this value, then what will happen? This psi r theta phi, what it will be? It is equal to A e raised to power iota kz plus summation Lm CLM HL1 KR YLM theta phi, and let us put their values here now, because it is the equation number A. So if I put all the values, then what will happen? It is equal to A e raised to power iota kz plus summation, because m will be 0, and let us take summation only for L, and L varies from 0 to infinity, and iota raised to power L plus 1 for m is equal to 0. So it is iota raised to power L plus 1 into K 4 pi 2L plus 1, it's under the root into AL. It is its value. And what is this HL1? It is A HL1 KR as it is, and what is its value? Its value will be 2L plus 1 over 4 pi whole under the root into PL cos theta. So now ये 2L plus 1 under the root है, It is also 2l plus 1 under the root. So simply when they get multiplied, it will become 2l plus 1. And this 4 pi will cancel out with this, because both are within under root and one is sitting in the numerator and another is sitting in the denominator. So both will cancel. So that means this part will cancel out. Only this part. And this is k and this is independent of L. So k can be taken outside the summation. K can be taken outside the summation. So it is a e raised to power iota kz plus k outside, summation L varies from 0 to infinity, and iota raised to power L plus 1, it is 2L plus 1 as it is AL HL1 KR and PL cos theta. Right? Very simple. What is the value of this as we have defined in equation X? We have defined it in equation X. So let me put its value. So if I put its value and phi we have taken as constant, so that means I can say that phi r theta is nearly equal to a e raised to power iota kz plus k summation L varies from 0 to infinity. It is iota raised to power L plus 1, 2L plus 1, it is AL and minus iota raised to power L plus 1 and e raised to power iota kr over kr. It is the value of what? It is the value of this part, and PL cos theta will remain as it is. This k will cancel out with it because this k is again independent of L. So it can be taken and it will cancel the effect. Right? Now let us rewrite down this equation again. It is a e raised to power iota kz summation L varies from 0 to infinity. It is iota raised to power L plus 1. One part is this and another is this. It is minus iota raised to power L plus 1. And then 2L plus 1 as it is. And then e raised to power iota kr over r, and AL is also sitting into PL cos theta. Let us try to understand what is it, and its value will be equal to 1. It is 1. This part is equal to 1. How? Let us do little algebra. It is iota raised to power L plus 1 and minus iota raised to power L plus 1. I can write down it as iota raised to power L plus 1 minus 1 raised to power L plus 1 and iota raised to power L plus 1. Because this minus iota means what? It is minus 1 into iota. Okay? So it is iota raised to power L plus 1, L plus 1, they can be added together, and minus 1 raised to power L plus 1. So it is iota raised to power 2 L plus 1. It can be written in this way, and iota square is minus 1. So it is L plus 1 and this will remain as it is. So it is minus 1 raised to power L plus 1. So what is it? Minus 1 raised to power 2 raised to power L plus 1. So minus square is plus 1. So plus 1 raised to power anything, that is again 1. So it is 1. Right? So its value will be 1. So this wave function is, sorry, a e raised to power iota kz, it is summation 2l plus 1, and al e raised to power iota kr over r, and it is pl cos theta. Right? That's what we are getting for the intermediate region. But let us recall, because it is psi r theta, let us recall another equation which we have derived in the beginning. That equation is psi r theta is equal to a e raised to power iota kz plus f of theta e raised to power iota kr over r. That's what we have defined in the beginning. If I compare these two results, so that means this f of theta is nothing but it is this term. Excluding this part. So therefore, f of theta is equal to what? Summation L varies from 0 to infinity. It is because it's a summation L varies from 0 to infinity, and it is 2l plus 1 al pl cos theta. So this is what? This is the equation, that how scattering amplitude, because f of theta is the scattering amplitude, and what this equation will suggest, this is scattering amplitude, and this equation will suggest that how scattering amplitude depending upon the amplitude of partial wave, LS partial wave. So this equation tells us about the relationship between the scattering amplitude and partial wave amplitude, right? So this is a very important equation which we are getting out of this lecture. And then let us define differential cross section d theta, and d theta is f of theta mod square. So it can be this into f of theta star. In terms of star, we can also, if something is complex. So what does it mean? It means, because I know that what is f of theta in terms of partial wave, so I can write down it as L is equal to 0 to infinity. One is L and another is L prime. L and L prime. So it is 2L plus 1, 2L prime plus 1, AL star, AL, and PL cos theta, and PL prime cos of theta. This is a way to define it. And we will use a very simple result, that this PLX, I am not going into the detail of this, you can use it directly. It is equal to 2 over 2L plus 1 delta L prime. If I use this, then I can find out total cross section. So total cross section is sigma is equal to d theta and its integral over solid angle. And if I use these values here and use this result, then its value will be directly comes out to be AL mod square, right? So that means in this lecture we have defined the scattering amplitude in terms of partial wave amplitude. Then we try to find out the differential cross section and total cross section for the given problem or for the intermediate region. And that's all for this lecture.